Now that we have word that the Sacred Hunt is going to remain in Conan Exiles at least until the next update, I wanted to put a guide together showing you what the most efficient way is in order to get as many fangs as possible. Now, this does mean that you're going to be repeating content, and you're going to be repeating content a lot if you want to unlock everything that you can buy from the trader. In order to unlock everything, you need 3,630 fangs. Now I've sat down and done the math, and I've done it for the worst possible scenario, meaning that every single time you kill one of these enemies, you receive the least amount of fangs that they can drop. If that were the case, you will need to do this loop 29 times. And in this loop, you are going to kill those bosses multiple times per loop. To start this off, there are 3 locations where you're going to go to fight these bosses. The first is out in the jungle. That's going to be the Panther boss, and that is in the top left corner of 07 right there. You're then going to go just below the Black Galleon in I-7, and that is where you're going to fight the Rhino boss. These 2 locations are rather difficult to get to if you're using map rooms and depending on where you're built. So my recommendation is when you go out there, you kill them twice. You kill them back to back 2 times. You are going to have to wait around the area for 5 minutes in order to place your next lure. The last boss is on the line of D and E in 14, and that is going to be the Mammoth boss. There is an obelisk nearby, so you can teleport to this one easily if you have access to a map room. In order to start this off, you want to have a 101 gnarled fangs. There's a reason why I chose this number in particular, and that's because what we're going to do is buy 1 paint, and then we're going to buy 10 champion lures right off the bat. For this loop, we're going to kill each one of the bosses 2 times. We're going to go out and kill the Panther 2 times. We're going to go out and kill the Rhino 2 times. We're going to go kill the Mammoth 2 times, and then we're going to kill the Were Hyena 2 times as well. Once we're done with all that, we're going to come back to the event center, interact with the Jebel Sog altar, and we're going to make 1 of each of these lures. Additionally, I'm going to show you an easy way to get into Al Moriah to fight the werewolf boss, because that is very important to get more fangs and to also unlock the werebear follower. The boss that I'm going to start with is the Panther boss. It is right out here. Here's the area that you want to look for, and the tablet is tucked right up here. In order to engage in this fight, you need to strip off all your armor and then apply the war paint. You can then place your first lure on the altar there, and the boss will spawn in. Now, as you can see, we only got 16 total fangs from this enemy, and we got the brand. We're just going to sit here for 5 minutes, wait for the ability to spawn him again, and then we'll head to the next location. If you need to know if the altar is ready, simply try to place the champion lure on there again, and it will tell you that the champion is preparing for its next hunt if it's not ready. Once it's ready again, the lure will turn green, and you will not get this error message displayed. After fighting the Panther boss a couple of times, we're going to head over to the Rhino here, and that is down below the Black Galleon. Like I said, it's on the north side of the Black Galleon, and it is this tablet right here. We're just going to place the lure there, and we'll start the fight with the Rhino. And we received the lowest number of fangs from this fight as well, only getting 15 fangs. Then we're just going to hang out and wait for this Rhino to spawn again so that we can kill it a second time. After slaying the Rhino boss a couple of times, we're going to come up to the north and slay the Mammoth boss. Now, like I said, it's not far away from the obelisk, so it's up there. That's the obelisk, and you can teleport into that from any map room. This tablet is right in front of the Temple of Frost there, and the tablet's right there, so we will just place the lure right on that tablet and engage in the fight with the Mammoth. And there we go, we got 16 fangs from the Mammoth. Onto what I feel like is going to be the hardest part of this whole loop, or what people feel like is the hardest part of this whole loop. But I'm going to show you how to do this really easily. So what you need is to learn sorcery. You have to at least have the knowledge of sorcery, and you're going to want 2 burlap pouches. Additionally, you're going to want explosive arrows, no less than 5. And I'm going to show you from the Weeping Ruins right here how we get into the Al-Mariah base and slay the enemy that's in there as quickly and easily as possible. So we are going to leave this location. We're not going to try to engage with any of the enemies. We're totally going to subvert them and go around them. So we're going to drop down here, and we're looking for this cart right here. As quickly as possible, we're going to climb up this cart. And if people notice you, that's fine, as long as they're not shooting you down. Once you get to this point right here, this is where things get a little bit funky. It doesn't appear that either one of the archers are really good at shooting you in this location, so you should be pretty safe to do this. But you are going to select your staff, and you're going to aim right there. Then you're going to click and choose the far right, and then we're going to choose the far left. That's going to be the frozen bridge, and we want to aim it again right there. The frozen bridge is going to allow us to just walk right up to this point. Now this is where the arrows come into play, the explosive arrows, and if you let these burn out all the way, it takes 5 arrows. But we're just going to shoot it rapid fire here. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. If we do a 6th one, that may just do it. We'll let that burn out and see if that gets us in there. Now, this location is also decently safe because the archer spots are way over there. They don't engage. The other one is right there, and he's got an issue hitting us. And then the last one is right here. This is the one that's probably going to try to shoot you the most, but as you can see, he really doesn't have an angle, so you should be safe to do this. You can see the door's still there, so we'll go ahead and shoot it again. Like I said, if you just let them burn out all the way before firing the next one, it only takes 5 arrows. It really is up to you how long you want to wait up here. Now that the door is broken down, what we could do is engage in sorcery again, and we want to be as good of a spot as we can to not be shot. But if we're getting shot, I don't think it'll take us out of the sorcery, so we want to go far right and then far left, and that's going to do ice bridge again. You want to aim just below that second step, the first step you can see there. That way what happens is it actually blocks anyone from following us in, so they actually can't get through that door, but you're able to just walk in here. I'm not sure how this guy's in here, but we will dispatch him easy enough. And then as we move in here, we'll just lose aggro from everyone else. We've essentially blocked their way in for the time that we're going to be in here. Again, this guy has a 5-minute timer, so we just want to kill him twice while we're down here, wait out the 5 minutes, kill him a couple of times, and then we can leave basically the same way we went in. After defeating him the first time, we got 20 fangs. And we're just going to hang out and wait until we can bring him back. Now, what's really important about coming down here is getting the Ancient Blood. This will allow us to make the Malodorous Grand Champion lure, and we're going to get the most fangs from having that fight. Now we need to get out of here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to go to get out of here the easiest way. So we'll put our armor back on, and we will run out this door. We're going to run straight out and up these stairs, then up the stairs again, out the front, and just continue to run. The enemies will follow you for a time, but eventually you will lose them and their aggro will change and they'll run back to their spot. You can see we just have the one guy following. We could just stop and slay him and then be done with this section. Now that we've done our 2 full loops, we need to craft the different champion lures that we need. And we're going to do that right here at this altar. In order to unlock this altar, you need to have a conversation with the Bloody Tongue of Jebelsog. You want to use this and then use this, go through the entirety of those conversations, and you'll see we start learning things there. And then the entirety of this conversation, and we learn that. However, that's only going to give you the recipe for the Grand Champion lure. In order to unlock the recipe for the Malodorous Grand Champion lure, you will need to have a tavern placed and a barkeeper at that tavern. Once you do that, Zil the Wanderer will show up and you can learn the lure corruption. Now at this point, it's totally up to you what you craft. You can craft 2 of the Grand Champion lures and get a few less fangs from those fights, or you can craft 1 of each, or you could craft 2 of the Malodorous lures. The issue is with the Malodorous lure, it takes 24 hours for you to be able to use it. So my recommendation is that you actually craft 1 of each. We'll put everything that we need in there, and we'll go ahead and craft 1 Grand Champion lure, and we'll craft 1 Malodorous lure. That way we can simply go to the fight right away and engage in that fight while the other lure is decaying. Now you cannot put the Malodorous lure into a compost heap to speed up the process of the expiration timer, but you can put it in a chest and just let it start to expire. 24 hours of playtime on single player is an extremely long amount of time. So what you can do is go into settings, go to server settings, and then you're going to go to harvesting and you'll change the spoil item rate scale. And what you want to do is just increase this to the top. And what that's going to do is reduce the amount of time that that's going to take for that item to expire. Do keep in mind that it's also going to do that with any food that you have, so it's a good idea to put that food in a preservation box so that it doesn't spoil. The other option would be just to come into the admin panel, you're going to go to building, and you're going to type lure into that search box. You're then just going to grab the Tainted Grand Champion lure, and then you don't have to wait for that decay timer. If you do change the item spoil rate, don't forget to change it back to 1.0 once that item has decayed. Now that we have both of those lures, we need to interact with the trader. We're going to trade for a potion of the hunt. This is going to cost you 3 fangs, not a big deal because we're actually going to use it twice. This has a 1-minute decay timer, so make sure that you are ready to go when you buy it. Using that is going to teleport you to an arena part of this dungeon, and we're going to make sure that we place the correct lure in there first. So we just want the Grand Champion lure. We're going to place that down, and we're going to fight the first version of the werebear. Don't forget to take your armor off. Don't have a whack moment like me leaving it on, because you won't do as much damage. And there you go. After the first fight, we ended up with 44 total fangs. Don't forget to harvest the body from the werebear while you're here so that you can get the Tablet of Power. Now that we've waited about 5 minutes, we can use the other lure that we brought. This is the Tainted lure. It's the one that the Malodorous lure decays into. The difference between the previous boss that you fought and this boss is, first of all, the amount of hit points. This one is going to have twice the amount of hit points as the last boss. Additionally, it does have other drops that it's going to give you at the end of this fight. Now that we've finished that fight, you can see we got 50 more gnarled fangs, and we also got the Corrupted Savage Horn. The Corrupted Savage Horn has a 24-hour decay timer, but this particular item decays into a Savage Horn, which you can use to place your werebear follower. Again, don't forget to harvest the body of the werebear, that way you get the Tablet of Power and the other items that it drops. If you started out with the number of fangs that I told you in the beginning, and you didn't spend any additional fangs, you should have a decent amount of fangs at this point in time. Then it's just wash, rinse, and repeat, doing this process over and over again until you get the 3,630 fangs to unlock everything.